All right, let's go ahead and talk about this bolt flange that you were assigned a little while ago. I've gotten several different questions about this part, and they're all really good questions. So I'm just going to go over the whole part and just talk about how I would go about drawing it. So I went ahead and started it already, um, just drawing kind of the basics first. So circle and then extruded it a certain distance, and then another sketch on top of here, and extruded that um, to its distance from the drawing. And then I'm going to move over to the flange along the bottom, the kind of triangular-ish shaped flange. All right, so the question that I got quite a few times, and I completely understand why people were doing this, is that you would draw this as if it came to a point, and then you would fillet it. That makes total sense. The only time it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't work as well as you'd like it to, is when you're given an actual dimension to the outside of that fillet. So if you have to hit an exact distance to that outside, we're going to have to draw it a different way. We're not going to be able to draw it straight and then fillet it with the fillet tool. So here's how I would do that. So I basically drew a sketch, started a sketch. Let's just go ahead and get that. So this is actually going to be the outside of the edge, outside edge right here. And so we're going to draw some lines. Look like that. And then we'll trim out this section. In order to dimension out here, what I like to do is I just like to add a line. Just make it a construction line. And then you can dimension to that line. And because it's got a relationship to that circle, it's going to that right there. It just makes it nice and easy to dimension that. Let's go ahead and do that right now. So center point out to here is 4.25. Like that. And then if we dimension from here out to here, that's going to be 140 degrees. Okay. So again, if you notice what I did with this angle tool, I clicked here and then I clicked the center line here, but I didn't want to give this dimension because I wasn't given that dimension. I just drug it out here and it allowed me to give the complementary angle of that interior one. So I just was able to type in the exact dimension, which is 140. Okay. So then the last dimension for that side to get that line located. Let's see here. I'm just looking at the drawing again. Oh, the other thing. Okay, so I'm given, this is the other thing I wanted to talk about. So I've talked a couple of times about wanting to input the exact dimensions that you're given instead of dividing dimensions. That's definitely my preference. So in this situation, we're given the overall width of that flange, which is 3.25. Instead of them dimensioning it out from here, from the center line up to there, they give you the full width. So one way to do that is we're going to click on this line. We're going to convert it to a center line. And it's this tool right up here, center line. If you click that center line, and then you grab your dimension tool, and you dimension down to that center line, you can then dimension as if you're dimensioning to the far side of that center line, which we can write in 3.25. And then that gives us a nice easy way. I mean, you could also type in 3.25 divided by 2 into the dimension bar, and that would work just as well if you didn't change that to a center line. But I just went ahead and changed it. So the next thing I'm going to use is the mirror tool. So let's grab the mirror tool, and we're going to select the lines we want to mirror. Click on the mirror line. So apply, and there we've got our feature on the other side now. And you could get away without trimming this too. I just like to trim it so that it's all looking good. And then we can use our extrusion. Go up 0.5. Say okay. All right. So the other thing I could have done in that sketch is I could have gone ahead and drawn the holes in there. But a good rule of thumb is to keep sketches simple. So I like to, not get my sketches overly complicated with including too many features. I would prefer to do a simple sketch, extrude the boss, and then use another sketch to create the next features. That's just kind of a good rule of thumb that a lot of people like, a lot of people that aren't me like to do. So then we can add our circles in. And if you notice what I did when I drew that circle, let me do that again. I hovered over the edge of the circle, and then the center point pops up. So sometimes when you first come into onto a face, you want that center point to show so that you get concentric circles. You can do it that way. Try that again. And then instead of dimensioning, I'm just going to shift select both those, and I'm going to say equal. So now they're both the same size, diameter wise. It's not located correctly quite yet. But if I go back to the drawing, that's 2.45. That direction, and then 1 inch. Okay, now it's fully defined. All right, then go ahead and just draw a quick line. Now here. And when I flip that, it'll automatically switch to cut. Okay, and so then we've got our holes in there, and now we've got all of our dimensions are accounted for so far. Okay, the last thing is the little rib. So let's talk about the rib. You could draw it as a boss, like you could draw a rectangle. Here's the tricky thing about the rectangle that kind of is a bit of a stinker when you're dealing with round surfaces. If you draw a regular flat sketch on this on the mid plane right there, and you extrude it this way and this way, it's only going to skim the surface of that round edge. You would actually have to bring your sketch inside this part, and then your dimensions kind of get a little wonky. So when you're doing something like this, a lot of times it's easier to use the rib tool because then your parts are gonna line up correctly. I don't think I'm explaining this very well, so I'll just show you. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go to this right there, we'll sketch. Okay, there we go. So let's say I snapped to that geometry, and then I snap to this geometry. Okay, so say we did it this way and we're just like, oh, let's go ahead and extrude it. We'll extrude it symmetrically on both sides. And just for these purposes, let's increase that so you can see it a little better. You're going to see that it doesn't, it comes away from the model, like right in this area here. It doesn't line up. That's not good. So that's when the rib feature comes in handy, because the rib feature goes all the way to the back. Let's just delete this. Okay, sketch. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this again. We're just going to draw, we only need to draw a single line for the rib feature, which is nice. And then we can do our dimensions. So to here is 0.6. From here to here is 1. Okay. And go to rib. We're going to go towards the model. We'll select that, the profile. Okay, so we had to do not a normal to sketch plane. We're going to go parallel to sketch plane. Then we're going to go direction 1, which is going down towards the model. Direction 2 would be up away from the model, and so it doesn't work that direction because there's nothing to go to. So we just have to get our settings correct in that situation. Then we'll click OK. And if we zoom in, now we can see that the rib is fully in contact with that cylinder on the back. So, all right. Hopefully that'll help you guys out. And you can, start practicing using those kind of methods from now on. All right, talk to you later.